But it's so interesting that, you know, Europe has a really nasty immigration problem that can be violent. We have just friendly people south of our border who want to come here and exploit us by picking our fruit. And the racism out of the Trump camp is getting really kind of nasty. Get out of my country is what his bodyguard said to Jorge Ramos. Trump said, go back to Univision. He said the man was very emotional. These are not that coded code words. Those two guys in Boston last week who kicked the shit out of an immigrant and then said Trump was right. Donald Trump was in Alabama last week. Here's what one of his supporters said after the rally. He said, hopefully if Trump's elected president, he'll make the border a vacation spot. It's going to cost you $25 for a permit, and then you get $50 for every confirmed kill.
I was there.
You were there for that rally.
I was there with covering Trump in Alabama. The most fascinating thing about that crowd, a lot of white working class people, a lot of white collar people from all around Alabama, the Florida Panhandle, insurance salesmen, teachers. They're clicking with Trump.
Can you get away with talking about black people like this in America at this point? I don't think so.
No.
You can kick Mexicans still, but this is about. This is pretty out there, and you know, if that was my party, you know, I'd be a little ashamed.
I think you're absolutely right. But remember, you're absolutely right. Trump is bombastic and he's arrogant and he's doing this in a very personal way with, especially with Mexicans and Mexican Americans. But why he is catching on, which by the way, I disagree with him half the time on this issue, is he is addressing the illegal immigration issue, which is affecting middle-class American working people in a very detrimental way.
No.
No. Yeah, I will tell you, the reason why everybody else says no, I don't know if you live in a gated community or if you have guards or whatever.
I have guards.
But you have guards.
I have guards and gates.
Okay, well, the bottom
and dogs and bombs.
There you go. Well, when you're ordinary American.
And drones.
A significant...
So just try it, ISIS.
Yeah, but is this Trump phenomenon going to even end?
A significant number of Americans have had a very negative impact in their life of out-of-control illegal immigration into our country. Now, he's wrong.
Well, now you do sound like
He's wrong
Trump.
in several of his solutions. He's wrong in several of his solutions, but he is right in addressing an issue
He's
race baiting.
He's race baiting, and he knows that's what he's doing. He knows that's what he's doing. It's a book out of the George Wallace playbook, essentially a page out of the George Wallace playbook.
Actually, I think this guy is a European-style demagogic politician in the American context. This is our Berlusconi,
like
you know?
Le Pen.
Totally. You know, almost ideology doesn't even matter, far left, far right. It's whatever appeals to the chief.
If illegal immigration was not an issue that the American people were concerned about on a very personal level, they'd never put up with this negative attitude that he's got.
They may be concerned about it. It doesn't mean that it's real. The Republican side especially is great at fantasy issues. The truth is that net immigration from Mexico has been zero for the last 7 or 8 years.
Well, that's what your experts can tell you. The bottom line is it's not just Mexico that we're talking about. This isn't a Mexican issue. This is an issue about massive flow of illegals that bid down the wages of our people, consume education and health care benefits that belong to the American people.
They actually have
got a champion.
Can I just vent for 1 second about the media on Donald Trump? Because they keep complaining that, well, he's at the top of the polls, we have to cover him. Maybe he's at the top of the polls because you cover him endlessly.
Exactly.
And I was watching, CNN was going to do a special on Katrina. They blew it off for this 55-minute brag-a-thon Donald Trump speech. Just let me summarize what Donald Trump said. First, he brags about how he didn't do The Apprentice, give up a lot of money. Then he brags about, in Business Week, they named me a while ago the best in a people's poll of negotiators. Then he says, most people don't know, I own the Bank of America building in San Francisco. I got it from the Chinese. I did great.
Good impression.
Then he goes to China. They've taken our money and our jobs. It's one of the greatest thefts in the history of the world. That's the way Hitler used to talk about the Jews. Okay, they didn't steal anything. We gave them our jobs. Rich people like that fuck sent them overseas.